Well, hi, I'm Michelle Gregory. I'm a family law attorney here in Bloomington, Indiana. I focus on divorce, and I'm a divorce mediator and a divorce coach. And thank you so much for letting me present and letting me record it. So sorry for the extra trouble here today. I want to give a little bit of background about myself, since I really don't know any of you guys that well, and I'm kind of new to the group. And I know it's kind of hard to see, and it's even hard for me to see without my glasses. Let me see if I remember myself here. I wrote this over Thanksgiving. I'm like, what did I say? I was born in Fort Worth in 1963, so that makes me old. I'm an Air Force brat, so I've done a lot of traveling and lived in several different countries. I lived in Madrid, Spain as a child for 4 years, so I had a lot of fun there. Don't know any Spanish, except, like candy or things of that nature. I was married very young. I was not fortunate enough to have parents who encouraged college. We were very poor, and my parents were divorced. And when I said, do I get to go to college, they laughed in my face and said, good luck with that. Go get married, have babies. So I did. I got married to the first guy after that who asked me, which probably wasn't the best thing to do. But I had my beautiful older daughter, Heather, who is now almost 35 and has 3 kids. And that marriage didn't work out for a lot of reasons, and so I got divorced. And I was left as a single mom trying to figure out what in the world was I going to do, how was I going to support my children. So I started working as a model and actress because someone said, oh, you're pretty enough to do that. So I said, okay. So I started doing that, and to make ends meet, I worked in bars and restaurants. And went to acting classes. And as I got older, I started thinking, okay, I'm almost 30. This was a fun gig for a while. But I started to get wrinkles and things that happen with life. And I said, I've got to do something different and improve myself and be an inspiration to my daughter, who was starting to get to those teen years. And so I decided, I got this idea. Well, actually, I prayed about it, and I got this idea. The Lord kind of told me that I needed to get an education, and I had no clue. So I started at a junior college. I got my associate's degree there. While I was there, I learned I was dyslexic. I could barely read or write. And my agent actually laughed at me and said, you will never make it through the first semester. And being slightly competitive, I said, watch me. And so I really dug my heels in and started doing that, and I did graduate with honors, and as a result I was given a presidential scholarship to Southern Methodist University, where I went and I attended and was awarded a degree from the Cox School of Business and Business Administration. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. SMU is a really great school. I'm kind of hoping my daughter will go there. After I graduated, I didn't know for sure what I wanted to do. I knew I kind of wanted to go to law school. I was dating someone who was from Switzerland, so I got this idea, let's go to Switzerland while I study for the LSAT. And I did, and I studied for the LSAT, and I actually took a train up to Paris and took the LSAT there, so I had a really nice adventure by myself. It was kind of scary, but a lot of fun. And I wasn't quite through with Europe, so I decided, well, am I ready to go back to the States? And I wasn't, so I tried to apply to some schools, and I applied to one in England, and I got accepted there for the master's program in international relations, where I did a fast track program and got it done in a year. And got my master's degree in international relations and diplomacy, and then I thought, okay, now what am I going to do with myself? So I came back to the United States, and I was accepted to a couple different law schools, and I said, I've never been to Indiana. I think I'll go to law school there, with the intention of only being here for 1 to 3 years. And 20 years later, I'm standing up here today. So I'm here. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I got this wild idea to remarry and have another daughter. And so I'm still here so that she can spend time with her dad. And I do hope to spend more time traveling in the future. So I have a doctorate's degree. You don't have to call me Dr. Gregory, even though it'd be kind of cool. Traditionally, they don't do that, so it doesn't cause confusion. Most lawyers are called Esquire, which is a royal title. So I guess that's kind of cool, too. I've been practicing law since April of 2003, and I quickly got pigeonholed in divorce. It's probably because I'd been through divorce, I'd been a single mom. I kind of connected with that class when I was in law school, and my boss really needed someone, so he just handed me some files and said, here, go do it. I was clueless, didn't know what I was doing, but I found that I had a particular love and passion for it because I've been a single mom with dealing with an ex myself, and I felt like I had something I could give back. Then I remarried and had my second daughter, who was lovely, and I went through a very difficult divorce, and I won't get into that. If you guys want details or information, I'm happy to share. I'm very open about that because I utilized the things that I learned in that particular divorce and marriage to help the majority of my clients I have now. So that experience really did help me understand my clients better when they came into my office and they have issues with addictions and abuse and things of that nature. So I don't have to get any more detailed, but you kind of get the picture. Just for giggles, my personal interest, did I skip one? I'm not good at this little twisty thing here. Quickly, I love live performances, and I've actually seen you play. Steve and Douglas introduced me to your band out at the Four Winds. Yep, so I got to see you guys play, so that was a lot of fun. But I love live performances. I love to paint, I love to read, I love to learn, and I like to work out and eat healthy. So Amy and I had a one-to-one, and I'm going to be experiencing things with her products, which are really amazing. And my passion, of course, is my daughters. I loved my daughters. I was a mom. That was the most important thing to me. Almost all my decisions I did for them and made some negative and some good ones, I hope. I enjoy really helping women and children who've been through abuse. It seems to be part of my calling. My daughter's friends who are going through trouble are always wanting to come over and talk to me because they have questions and they need help. And I've called CPS more times than I wish I'd ever had to. But that's really important to me, that people treat each other and children well. I support the arts, so I've done a lot of sponsoring of the arts. I'm big into helping people and myself with self-improvement. I love sharing what I learn with others because what's the point of learning it if I'm not going to give that information away and help someone? Things that I'm inspired to do, I'm hoping to write books. I'm writing one now. I've got another one or two that I'm starting outlining. My goal, okay, this is really superficial, but I want a Jaguar. I really want a Jaguar. That is my goal. And to do worldwide coaching. I would like to be a speaker and be able to go around and help people with divorce, success, and relationships. So that is something I'm hoping to do eventually. And right now, my goal is to sponsor 1,000 girls in India. I'm doing 2 right now. So I'm hoping to keep adding on. I wrote a screenplay, and I'm hoping someday to have enough money to produce it myself. So that's kind of that's about me. Okay, so professional services. As a divorce attorney, I do the basics, custody, parenting time, child support, division of assets and debts, and parents' rights. I have a lot of dads who come to me for fathers' rights because, it's always an issue. A lot of men believe that, they're going to get an unfair deal if they don't have someone who really cares. And children having a connection with their dads is equally as important with their mom, as long as everybody is healthy and fit parents. I do a lot of legal separations, paternity, mediation. I really enjoy doing mediations. That's a great way for people to be able to solve their conflicts without having to go before a judge, because when you go to a judge, you don't know what the results are going to be. Sometimes you think you have the best case, and you go in and you present it with all the information, and you don't get what you were hoping for. If you go to mediation, you can do so much more, even than what a judge can do, because the judges are bound by the current law and the statutes. And in mediation, consenting adults can agree pretty much on anything they want. So I really try to encourage that, and I really enjoy being a mediator to help people work together and facilitate and come up with something that's going to benefit everybody for a long period of time. I do a lot of Post-divorce modifications, because life is dynamic, we're always changing, circumstances changing, jobs are changing, people need different houses, their families are growing or shrinking, so a lot of times I have people coming in for that. A lot of divorce decree enforcement. People sometimes think that their decree is a joke and they don't have to follow what it says, so I help people make sure that those agreements or court orders are followed. I do a lot of prenuptial agreements. I also do postnuptial agreements, which a lot of people have not heard about. Postnuptial agreement is when the divorce perhaps is on the rocks and you're either split up or going to split up, and in order to save that marriage, it's public policy to try to save a marriage. So we do postnuptial agreements. This is where you basically go ahead and decide how things would be divided if you were going to get divorced in a year or two, because you're having a little bit of a difficult spot, and it kind of helps people know and understand what's going to happen in the future. Do grandparents' rights. There's not a whole lot of that out there, but it is available for grandparents who have been denied parenting time if they fit the statute. I do a whole lot of pro se assistance. It's one of the things I do the most of now that COVID, because people are losing their jobs, they're trying to conserve their money. So they're not coming in and paying large retainers. They are wanting to get a little bit of help as needed so they can save the money, and they're learning to represent themselves. So I help them and I teach them and I coach them through that process. But still it's legal. And then my divorce coaching is the new thing, the new service that I've just recently added. And it's just starting out, it's in its infancy, and I launched it in January, just in time for COVID, I guess. And it's part of my podcast I do. But as a divorce coach, I can do this anywhere in the country, pretty much, whereas my pro se assistance, which is similar to coaching, is basically legal, and I can only do it in the state of Indiana. But divorce coaching, I can help people save their marriages, work on a relationship, or decide how they're going to exit their marriage. So the number one thing is, you got to plan it, you got to prepare it. So I really like Zig Ziglar's quote here, which was kind of something when I was thinking in my mind, I want to help people plan and prepare so they can divorce properly. I found this quote, and it's, "You were born to win, but to be a winner you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win." The number one thing is expecting to win, because if you don't expect to win, there's really no point of doing all the rest of it. But you're not going to win if you don't do the rest of it. So I sit down with people and I help them decide what it is they really want. We set some goals, and then we put together a roadmap. So it's just like any other journey that we take in life. We got to have the end in mind. So I express that and explain to them. So people always tell me, well, there is no winning in divorce. Really? I've seen people being molested and raped and abused and financially robbed of all of their assets during a marriage. Getting out of that is a win. It may not be a pretty one, but it's a win. And getting out with your dignity and a nest egg and knowing where you're going and how to move forward and feeling confident in yourself again and figuring out who you are is winning. No matter how you look at it, that's a winning. Yes, you've maybe took some steps back, but now you're going to start going forward in a positive direction. So a lot of people, oh, it's conflict. It's, it's not really, a big deal. Well, it is a big deal. When you're suing someone for divorce, it's a lawsuit. They're your adversary. It is a competition, and believe me, there are a lot of people who are ready to annihilate their partner that they said they loved to a week ago, and now they want to destroy them and their future. It is a competition. You have to take it serious, and being prepared for it as you go into it is really going to help you walk away with the best results. So the dictionary, says a successful result. So a win is a successful result to a contest, a conflict, a bet, or other endeavors of victory. And you really can win and have victory. For me, winning is doing the right things and doing it the right way. Because being a difficult person and only thinking about yourself is not a really win. That's selfish, and you're not thinking about your children. So I always tell people, you have to take the I and me out of divorce and start thinking about we and us. And then my Winning at Divorce podcast, which is kind of on hold right now. We've got 8 episodes, so if you want to check them out, I would request that you guys please go like and subscribe and share them. There's a lot of useful information. It's this year, our first season was about building a winning divorce professional team. So I have 8 professionals on there that I've interviewed, and they give their tips, their advice, and their anecdotes about how to use their type of service, or even them, their local people here, and one up in Indianapolis. So I think you'll find a lot of useful information there. And I have 2 Facebook pages, Winning at Divorce Podcast and H. Michelle Gregory. Those are my professional pages, so if you want to check those out, I appreciate it. I do have an Instagram. The guy that helps me with that, because I'm not familiar with Instagram, is kind of on hold right now. But if you want to check out either by audio or video, you can go to my website, hmichellegregory.com, and click on any of the guests that I had on my podcast, and it gives you the options on how you can either watch it or listen to it. And then just to give a little extra, some recommendations. People always ask me, well, how did you learn things, as you were going through life? Well, some of my mentors that I have read or watched, a lot of you probably know them. So a good book that I really enjoyed was, and I misspelled it, but it's Thinking and Grow Rich, The Master Keys to Riches, and Wake the Giant Within, and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People and Success Principles, all by your, Hill and Robbins and Cranfield and so on. And then they also have some good videos. So I just go on YouTube. These were just some suggestions. Okay, I know we were rushing, so I tried to hit on some highlights. Any questions about me or my business or my services? Okay, I must have done a really great job if there's no questions.
Yes, you blown us away. That was really awesome.
Okay, Kathy.
So, being a life coach, I remember running into people who are having family relationships.
Of course, yes.
So, your divorce coaching, would that be a place to send to? I guess maybe you and I just need to do one.
Well, you and I would probably sit down and talk about what services you want to give them,
Right.
and what additional services you might be recommending that they need. Because there's some overlap, but if they're coming strictly for divorce coaching, then you and I would create some barriers and parameters and things of that nature and see what they need, and just kind of work from there. But mostly it's about preparing. A lot of people, I really do get people come to me and say, I've never written a check. I literally had a woman in my office this week, been married 40-something years. She had zero idea what the finances are. Zero. She was given an allowance of $500 a month to buy groceries. That's all she knows. She's clueless. So we're going to be working together. There's still people like that. And so she may have some life things. She may have some financial things. She may have some divorce things going on. So, it could be a team effort. Always a good team. So my second season that I'm going to do is on your support groups, not necessarily professionals from the level of like financial advisors and things like that, but your banker and so on, and coaches. Okay. And then I had an inspirational quote. So I thought this was really nice. To change your life, you have to change yourself. To change yourself, you have to change your mindset. Cannot tell you how often I have to remind myself of that, because I fall into it even today, and my clients and everyone. So, if something's not working right for you, that's what are you doing wrong? You've got to change what you believe, because we get stuck in our belief systems. So, well, I can't do this, and I can only do that, and my parents never would do that, and these kind of ideas. So, if you want to change your life, you have to first make the change up here. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.